Live. We know that. You're live. And is the microphone working? Of course not. Is it? Is the mic working? Yeah, it is working. Huh. Hey, what's up, Bowman? So, someone will have to say that they can hear me good. If I'm clear, doing well, this and everything's working fine. Touch mess with that. I don't know why everything's suddenly working this week. Last week I had so many problems. We'll see how we go. Well, maybe he went, got himself a drink. He left the room. I'm still in the room. It's 4:01. Everything should be up and running. But there we go. Hello. Hey, Steve. You can hear me fine. Just say yeah, thumbs up or something. So I know that. Taz beating, yeah, but I think he left. Hello. Hey. And there's Terry. So is it the group of, well, there's 5. So there's the 5 best people. Okay. So everybody can hear me. So we're in here in Strawberry Mountain Sanctuary, amazing wilderness. It's working. And Mesquite Elon. Wow, everybody's just kind of piling in. Howdy from Washington State. Hear you fine. Yeah, I don't know why everything went well this week. Last week was weird. Nothing would work. We couldn't get Wi-Fi. We couldn't get online. Couldn't get into YouTube through the normal system. Today I just logged it in and it popped right up and it just rolled. Everything's working just fine. So I don't know why last week it didn't work. It did work shortly thereafter. I kind of like tested it to see what it was that I was getting wrong, and there was nothing. So who knows? But it happened. So hello, everybody. 102 here today. A little warm on this Friday, but it's the last of the warm days. 102, well, you might think it's hot. It's actually just warm to us out here. But we are at the end of summer. It's fall. So the mornings are in the 60s, which is really nice. And then next week, I think by the end of next week, we'll be in the low 90s. So we should be dropping down and down. And then usually the end of October is when the bottom falls out. So we're getting there. So it's kind of nice. Be out of the relief of the 95-degree nights and 115-degree days. It is really nice. So we're getting there, and the mountains are calling, and it's that time of year. So we're getting ready to kind of roll into it. See, rendezvous coming up November 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Don's Camp gates open around noon. Jack San Felice will be out. Said he will be bringing some books to raffle off. He will also be bringing other books to purchase, and he will sign them. We'll have a little table set up. I'm going to try actually to kind of set something up. So if Jesse, anybody else that comes in wants to bring a handful of books, they can come in and do some signing too and stuff. So that would be kind of nice, because I know he'll be there. Thomas Glover might be there. I'm trying to think if anybody, the other authors, Jack Carlson may be there. Trying to think of who else. There's a number of people, so it'd be nice. Anybody brings, we'll have a little something set up so they can sit down and sign some books and stuff for people. We'll have Woody Wampler out earlier before the guest speakers. We're gonna have something set up so he can do prospecting class and stuff like that. How old are you, everyone? And yes, you're right. The mountains are calling. We don't know how old they. And then you retracted it because you realize the women will not tell you their ages no more than their weight. So we're all 107. So, and looking good for it on a Friday after a long week. So I got the voice. I got the gravelly, deep voice today. So you can always tell how long the weeks went by where the voice is. Yes, those mountains are calling me. See, it dropped the age thing. See, that's the with me reading this stuff before you guys decide to give it a second thought. Anyways, weather is beautiful out. It's been really super nice in the mornings. And so we're getting through that time of the year. I'm planning on going to the rendezvous again this year. Looking forward to it. I'm hoping we get a good turnout. It looks like we should. There was a little confusion. A few people thinking they were going to have to stay out at Peralta County Park, but I think there'll be plenty of room at the Don's camp for most everybody to stay in the upper and lower camps. I told people you can stay in your cars or drive in and out of town or whatever you need to do. So, clearing brush. Well, the Don should be out the next couple of weeks. We'll be looking at the camp. The big cleanup usually happens in January, but it should be in pretty good shape. So there'll be a couple weekends now. We'll be going out just to inspect. I know there was some improvements made in the camp, either late spring, early summer, or sometime. So we will be taking a look at that. I think we have a monument cleanup. The monument in Apache Junction, the cacti are dying. So we have to clean that up. So that's tomorrow morning, and probably might run out to the camp then and kind of look at what we need. And then secondly, the week or so after that, we'll be out. I'll have Frank out and we'll go out and check that stuff. Can you ask Mr. Frank to come tell a story? Tell a story at the rendezvous or comes tell a story here? Frank usually takes a bath. Hello, I'm Johnny Cash. Yeah, we always ask him, welcome Frank. He was down the weather, kind of had a rough few weeks and all. So, and we can get him in occasionally. I've told him we need to get him in and do the live, me and him together, but he's not a technology guy. I told him it's real easy. We can set it up and all. Then of course we always have a problem, and he always points to that of like, well, you know, we're gonna have problems. He doesn't want to look like an ass. So, yeah, definitely. But I don't know when he'll be out Friday. If we could even attempt to get I don't know. I wouldn't even try to say we'd buffer too much to try to do it live from out there. Damn autocorrect will get you there every time. Pre-statue. Okay. I saw the newscast where the famous giant cactus collapsed in the front yard. Yeah, cacti had a really rough summer from the heat because of that. You know, consecutive 110 plus days and stuff. It really took things out. But the monument there, it's kind of behind the Apache Junction sign at Apache Trail now, but there's a monument that Don's built in 1930-31 that's actually at the crossroads, and it's behind there, and it's a historic monument. We'll be out cleaning that up tomorrow. So I'm going to take Trevor out and at least see the Dons, some of the members of the Apache Junction, Chamber of Commerce, or whoever's working on it. So we're going to get out there, and they're going to kind of straighten and clean things up there. So it'll be the first time we kind of all get together a little for that. I'm in Russellville, Arkansas, and I'm going to the rendezvous. Is it possible the rendezvous attendance could be triple last year? I don't know. We did about 100, just over 100 and some odd. It's always hard to keep because there's a lot of people that come into camp. Some come in Friday, a lot of people during the day, Saturdays, and then another group comes in Saturday night. So you're always trying to keep, we always have a head count for who's there for the guest speakers, which jumps between, I'm going to say 120 to 180 people. We did one year have close to 300. I don't know. It's really rough when you have 300 people because there's just 300 people randomly there. Big problem is getting around, being able to talk to everybody and stuff. There's fewer of us year by year. So it kind of stretches me and Frank, Greg Davis, thin. Greg tends to stay toward his camp and around certain people. And, you know, the people can be a bit shy and so forth. So, you know, we had those years that were pretty solid, higher attendance. And I don't know whatever the big number was, but part of it too was you'd have a lot of people come in from, say, Rick Gwynn, The people who hung out with Rick and Tom Collambore, and they would hang with those groups, associated groups, Joe Roboto, and that helped a bit. Now it's kind of like Trevor's trying to help me, Woody, Mike McChesney, and Frank are trying to help, but it's kind of more laid out and just kind of going through, and everybody comes and goes, where's Wayne? And Wayne runs around everything. Apparently the ambient heat staying hot at night. Yeah, I think it did. I mean, we didn't get a ton of rain, and that was it. Then the dinosaur fossils and the superstitions. Don't know. I think there was a spot that there was supposed to be some dinosaur footprints and stuff. And there's fossils, not dinosaurs, but things from that era in the canyon walls in a few places. How many people do we need to show up before the Donia start grilling ribeye again? That would be a good question, and something I've posed to the Dons, because this year is our 19th anniversary. Next year will be our 20th, and we'll be heading towards the 100th anniversary of the Dons of Arizona and the 100th anniversary of Trek. And I'm really kind of starting to look at these anniversary dates of the 20th, 25th, the 100th anniversaries and so forth. We need to kind of gear up on those dates. It should be a pretty big deal. Again, always the problem is we want to always keep it just kind of an open to the public, nice and easy. I'll have to do a Chasing Legends where I show just the amount of paperwork and how much work it was to put on Trek. I mean, we've shown films and stuff, but for people to see the itineraries and the groups of people and what they were doing and how all that, and there was instruction lists for each group. So you had the Cook Shack people, which was a larger group. You had the Firefall Committee and group, which was a group probably of 12 to 15 people. You had the people that handled all the programs in the amphitheater. Then you had the Trek pageant, which was the telling of the Lost Dutchman story. Then you had the people that did the hikes, because you had a short hike, medium hike, and a long hike. And you had all that and the support groups that went with that. So when you realize it was not just the Dons, but it was the friends of the Dons Amigos, and a lot of people associated and families that kicked in. It was hundreds of people that put that on, and then they basically tried to keep the costs so where it could pay for itself. And in the end, they were losing money on it because the costs obviously went up, but they always tried to bring everybody in. And so that's one of your problems is if we ever tried to fill the amphitheater and brought in 1,500 to 2,000 people, we'd have to, I could recruit a number of Dons to help, and the Dons do show up more and more now to assist. We'd have to look outside of the Dons for some volunteer people, not just regular people, but people obviously for security and safety reasons and all. And then that kind of starts changing the rendezvous look. The rendezvous mainly was to get everybody to come in. And when it comes to the old Dutch hunters and those type of guys and the treasure hunters, you need to kind of give it kind of a no rule basis, which Randy and Wright and I always said. Rule 1 is there are no, or everybody leave your baggage at the gate. Rule 2 was everybody show up on Saturday night. Back then it was Friday at first, but everybody show up on Saturday night at the guest speakers and stuff. So at least one point in the rendezvous, we're all together for an hour or two. And rule 3 is there's no other rules. And the idea was to make it so everybody felt welcome. Everybody felt they could come in. And if somebody was going to give us a problem, we've never had to do it. But the whole point was if someone came in and was going to give us issues or something, we would just walk them out the gate and just say, go home. And this ain't a place to have any negativity or any issues with anybody or cause a problem or have a fight. And somehow, even with some of the larger feuds, and there was a lot of problems, definitely with like forums and that type of stuff, it really never spilled in the rendezvous. People who were the worst of enemies online would sit around and camp together and got along really well. And people were always surprised, but it was always just that thing. It was just, do you really want to be the guy in the group that was asked by everybody, just please, would you get up and leave? No, they want to be there. It's much easier just to bury the hatchet and be there for the weekend. And then pick up your feud when you leave. Steaks and... Yeah, I know they quit roasting the pig towards the end. Yeah, the old Don's video was amazing. You and Frank should hire some lookalikes to help with the bigger crowd at the rendezvous. Is Frank an old fossil? He's a dinosaur. That is true. Um, the work that went into the Firefall was amazing. Yeah, it was. I mean, when you look, and like I said, I'm gonna have to bring something and then just sit here and read. And I know it'll be boring. Maybe I'll do it for Chasing Legends for different aspects of it as we get closer to that anniversary, because I think people would be blown away. And I have a box, rather large box of photographs and stuff of the Dons. Not just the slides I converted. These are actually old photographs from the 30s, 40s, and 50s. And it's amazing the amount of work. But people were different in those days. You'd see people in button-up shirts with ties and dress shoes and stuff like that out working and doing stuff. People were a lot harder than they are today. People are much softer now. And it's really weird because you would have thought people weren't quite as rough and tumble, but they definitely were. And when you see the business, and when you realize the Dons were basically made up early on, and a lot of that stuff, these are businessmen and business owners and attorneys and accountants and stuff like that. And then you look at the work they were putting in and what they were doing, you do step back and go, you know, today you would not, that you couldn't pull that off with that same group of people of office personnel. Especially the other fact is that with all the treks, all the hikes, Firefall, there was never a single accident. There was never a fire. Nobody was ever injured. It all went smoothly all the time. So that was pretty big deal. I'm going to the rendezvous with my stunt double. He is. Don't pull his finger though. There you go. Can't make it going deer hunting. Well, good deer hunting is fine, man. You know, hang it, let it air out. Nothing wrong with good venison. I will not go on about anything about venison, which I have someone that works for me. I was kind of pushing on my employees to come out because only one of them has ever been out to the rendezvous. So I was making a big deal of, some of you guys need to come out after all these years. You guys need to come out and kind of just hang out. Then they asked the thing of, will you pay for my gas? Do we get paid for this? I wish the company supported it as volunteer hours or something. But I told them it would be cool if they came out. Now one does come out, but that was someone who worked before that. Another one generally goes deer hunting and elk hunting. So do not know if they're family, but they would be a cool family to have out. And I won't drop names, but they are associated with some people there. So it would be cool to have that family come out. Very nice family, very cool people. These days are not the same. I don't think it would work the same. I think it could work the same. There'd be a lot of protocols and a lot of things different. I don't think the long hike, when you look at the long hikes and the amount of people that went on it, I don't know if you can this year. It's hard for me to just say, yeah, it's definitely happening. But I'm really, really thinking of taking a group up Cardiac to the Cave Trail. And then keep everyone together. I want to kind of do something like, hey, if I can get 20, 30, 40 of people that are in camp Saturday morning to go up Cardiac, because a lot of people probably haven't in a very, very long time, or a lot of people have never done it. Just keep us together, keep it very slow, and get everybody so everybody could say they made Cardiac, and people can know what you're talking about. I thought about that. I know one year we went down into Barks Draw. So we did the Barks Canyon and took a group down in there because there's some stuff to see. I don't think we ever did the Cave Trail. We talked about it. The problem with the Cave Trail is once you take that and you kind of burn everybody out, we don't have the ropes and stuff. So everybody'd have to climb up to Geronimo's Cave. And then they got to hike back over to Fremont and then back down. So I don't know how good a shape everybody would be in. And it also depends on the weather. Some years, though, it's pretty warm out there. So they would all be over it. But then you might mixing work and pleasure. It's not the company. It's generally as a rule, I don't know. There's been a few people. There's been a few people from work. I'm saying not that work directly under me. So that's kind of what I was saying there. There's quite a few people who work where I work that come out there, and they've milled about, and I've seen them at work and stuff, and I appreciate them coming out. But both companies are very similar in the same. And I mean, to say one's more supportive of certain things than the other is not true at all. Where I work was very supportive of me going off and doing a TV show, and very supportive of me doing work still today. They've been very, very kind of firmly behind me. So, I've been very, very appreciative of how supportive they've been of that. And I've always been trying to get the forestry group to come out and clean up the Dodds camp with the chipper trucks and stuff. And one day we'll get it to happen and get things cleaned up really good. So do we need to bring hiking packs? I would always say, if you're coming out, bring a pack where you can keep water and stuff. And because we'll have water and stuff around, and everybody usually shares and everything. But if we go to do something, there's Crematory Rock, there's the Dayside Mine, there's different things. I'm not going to do the Apache Cave, Wave Cave. That's, we're not going to do something silly as that. But then there's the Quarter Circle U. I don't know if the Backus family and so forth, we've had access to that and done a tour there before. There's different things we can do. It always depends on the attendance, the weather, and it depends on what time we all get up. Sometimes there's 3 or 4 people ready to go, and then there's a whole bunch of people that are just dragging, kind of eating breakfast. And you don't want everybody to miss breakfast and stuff and go on a 3-4 hour hike. But we did Barks Canyon, the Miller Mines. I'm trying to think of some of the other. We've done a bunch of different stuff, and there was a group I know went one year up to Fremont. So we always try to encourage stuff and different hikes. I know we did one year to the Quarter Circle U, and then we cut back towards Burns Ranch. And there's a spot out there might be cool to go to. We did Burns Ranch. We did Ward's Cabin, which is different now with the county park. So we've done all kinds of different stuff. There was an Indian cave that we went to one year with Jack Carlson. So it's I'd always bring something, because you never know when you're going to want to do something, because someone will tell you, oh, you want to go do, okay, this will take this long, and you can go out there. So there you go. Who am I? Just another dull Dutch hunter from New York. Well, you follow mine. Dutch hunters from New York. I know there's Ron Feldman too. So I think Ron's older than you though. So he's an older Dutch hunter from New York. Ever heard of any mining on Dome Mountain? There's mining wherever where somebody wanted to dig a hole. Successful mining, profitable mining are different terms. Hope is all well and having a great day. Having a good day. Looking forward to dinner tonight. Yeah, it's probably a balanced cooler full of beers or hiking pack. That does happen. Herkimer diamonds. I don't know about that. I don't know of any diamonds and superstitions. We've talked about that. I know someone talked about, I think it was in Arkansas. There's diamond fields or the smaller diamonds and stuff they go for. And it's really weird, because this argument was made on, not an argument. Someone made a post on Facebook about obsidian's very rare in the superstitions. And I was kind of like, no, it isn't. Now, what is odd is the hokum, salado, a lot of spearheads, arrowheads, they didn't use obsidian generally for those. And I've found very few serrated edges and stuff from obsidian. But it's volcanic calderas. It's glass rock. I mean, duh. So I was kind of like, I don't think the person thought about it. I think they saw something and then tried to make a statement. And I wasn't trying to correct them as much, but it is funny, because you can find a little bit of everything anywhere, which leads me to, as far as diamonds and certain things, I think it depends on not only the geology, but kind of like the possibilities. I would think with the pressure and all those things, even though I do not know about, I think diamonds have something to do with coal deposits and stuff. Now, these were swamplands at one time, so there's always a possibility that the desert swamplands under there and carbon and all that could be. I don't know. So there was the cave of the Thousand Eyes. The guy thought it was diamonds, which it was just crystals, quartz crystallization. I made it. Howdy. So there you go. You made it about halfway through. So, hey, and then, like I said, we're on a Friday answering questions, kind of a lot of rendezvous stuff. When you come out to the rendezvous, like I tell people, you can pick a chair. There's the benches in the big Ramada. There's some slabs laying around. If you want to lay out on one of those, bring a blanket and a pillow. You can sleep in your car. Nobody's going to look at you funny. There's a lot of people that sleep in their cars. I know Sal. I think he does sleep. He's kind of a vampire, but it's kind of weird because I think I found him a few times asleep in a chair. But Greg Davis sleeps in the chair off and on all day. So, but yeah, I just you can just pull up wherever. I know there's a few people that don't really bring much of anything, just kind of come out with water or whatever they just need in the vehicle. That's it. So didn't you guys find a big chunk on the show that was like up in a small cave? Yeah, we found that big deposit. It wasn't a cave, it was a crack in a rock. And I've really pushed on Frank for a long time that we need to get something, and kind of, since it's just kind of glass. Now the rock above there is loose. Frank never saw it. He's only seen the pictures I took of it. But I think it was me, DeLeo Magnuson, and then Glenn Evans, who was one of the cameramen, saw that. I'm trying to think if anybody else was with us, if it was just the five of us. But I took pictures of it, completely thrown off that we found that, because I was looking back in and I was like, what the heck? And I've always wanted to go back, and it's kind of that torn. It's very neat that it's there and nobody knows where it's at. So it's very cool, but at the same token, it would be cool to see if we could safely take that big piece out. I don't know how big the deposit is because it's only what shows, and it looks like a good sized ball of obsidian coming out of the wall. And it's just a very neat looking thing in it. I'm pretty sure I've posted the pictures of it. Got new tires on my toy hauler trailer. Can't wait to be there. There you go. So we're welcoming everybody this year. It should be a lot of fun. Everybody that comes out, I think, doesn't know what to expect. And then once they get there and they kind of settle in and realize what it is to some degree and get to be around everybody, I think they really enjoy it. I don't think you could pull this off. And obviously the rendezvous started many years before the TV show. But I don't think you could find people from a number of different TV shows like myself, Frank, Woody. DeLeo has been there. Jesse Feldman, Ron Feldman, Bob Shoes, Jack Sanfelice, all these different people that have done television and different programs and all this stuff. I don't think you could ever find something where everybody's so laid back and you can just come over and sit and listen to us talk with us and share time with us. I don't think you could find that with any other group possible. They would have to be organized and this and that. It's just, and we're pretty easygoing. I think that's the big thing that I think people are surprised at. Not that we're the nicest guys in the world, but there's a reason, purpose for the rendezvous and us being able to share and stuff. And it goes back to the fact of when we went to do social media, they told me make a professional page. And they told all of us, we had a sheet of paper, make a professional page and do this, keep your personal page. And I'm thinking, who's going to be on? No, I got 20, 30 friends on Facebook. I don't have any other social media. Nobody cares. And I found out later, oh, that's different than I thought. But I think it is odd and unusual because people get messages from me talking. I've never heard that about most everybody else from a number of different programs, that they actually can get in contact and do, unless you physically show up in their face. People don't get much of contact from those guys, which I get. It's a lot to kind of stick out there, and they maybe aren't as sociable, or maybe there's good reason. I can see the reasoning of keeping your distance always, but I don't think any of us ever really cared. Myself, Frank, Woody, none of us ever did. And Shoes runs Goldfield Ghost Town. He's been in movies, he's been in films, been in television shows, and you can walk up while he's digging with a shovel there, and just people find him the nicest guy in the world. So I think people are surprised at that. I think that's part of the core Dutch hunting group, and I think that's what helps it survive. Is people find we're a bit irreverent. We have no problem making fun of each other and everything else. And people will find out. They will sit there and kind of have their own little perception and stuff. But, In the end, the inner circle, it's not a clique, but the inner circle of people, once you've kind of come into that, everybody's very chill, very open. Just look at the Treasure Hunt of the Year award. There's 40, 50 of us every year that get together and have dinner, and there's never a problem with that. Most everybody shows up for the rendezvous. There's other things we do. If there's a funeral for one of us, everybody's there, and it's, you see the same group of people. There's fewer each year now, but you see that the support and the kind of the brotherhood there is in that. We've gotten beyond the feuding years and all that, but it is different. And I think the rendezvous, because it started for a reason, purpose, we were able to bring that into this. And when you look at the number of people and different people we've had there, I mean, Casey Morgan's made it out. I don't know which show he's doing now. He was doing the Lost, Dave Turin's Lost Mine or whatever. I think he's doing something else. Anyways, Casey and his wife came out last year, the year before. They've been out before, which is very cool. They're good people. But that's part of the whole thing we encourage is going out. And, we're not the guys to sit at the autograph table. We're the guys that just want to hang around and sit with everybody. Who can take that much bullshit? Yeah, that's the biggest problem, is having to deal with. I always feel like if you and you have a good point, because I don't know if this was your point, but drunken school, not a drunken shoot fest. But the big point of all of it is we actually all will feel bad. And people say, well, I talked to Clay, I talked to Shoes, they were so nice and they believed everything. We all learned to be really helpful and nice and kind of like, Clay is a very, very sweet man, and Clay is not going to tell you you're doing something foolish. That's more someone else's job in the community. But Clay is very empathetic and very nice about it. And I always ask Clay, is like, hey, don't you ever worry about, getting someone killed out there because you're maybe too supportive. He's not open-minded. He doesn't maybe believe in what you're saying, but he's very empathetic and very supportive of what you believe in for yourself. And I said, don't you worry about that. He's like, dreamers need to dream. And he says, who am I to, change the course of someone's dream, right or wrong? And he's very, very nice about that. Tom was a lot like that and was very good. Yeah, so, Clay's one of the few that even when you step away and you leave, he's never going to say anything bad. Everybody else will turn and go like, I hope he comes back okay. Somebody needs to talk to that boy, which sometimes comes my way as they go, hey, this guy came in and I think he's going to talk to you and you need to talk to him and set his head straight. And I'm like, why is it got to be me? So, but no, there is so much you can take from so many people from so many different angles, and you try to be cool. It's only when people keep trying to slab it on and they start getting, let's call them dickish and douchish. And then you just finally, I always tell people, and if anybody's ever here that's ever dealt with me in that case, I warn you, I tell you ahead of time. I said, I've been very patient. I'm being very nice, and we can keep this very cordial. We can keep talking. I don't have a problem with communicating with you. But if you're going to go this path, you need to just quit talking to me, because you're being argumentative and you're being rude, and it just needs to end. And then every person that ever does that, they either one of two things happen. They kind of back up and go, oh crap, yeah, thanks for talking, I get it now. Or else they go more on the offensive. And I don't block people. I've never kicked someone out or blocked anyone, but it does get rough. I mean, because you're just getting, you're trying to be nice and listen and give you the best advice possible and the best history and everything that I physically know. Chances are everybody that's here today does not have anywhere the amount of material file cabinets I have in my own personal private collection, much less what I have access to through everything else. So chances are I've been through a lot. So I'm always trying to give the best represent and put the best information out there for each person. And for some reason, people, like to turn on you and go like, oh, well, no wonder you've never found it because you have not an open mind. Well, no, I've been through way too much open-mindedness. But there you go. So there's no drunk shoot fast. I love a jar. Who can take that much bullshit? Talked with Casey last night. He will not be attending this year, but said hi to all. That's too bad. I like him and V. Him and V are good people. So No, I like minerals, and the show always thanks. Thumbs up. Tell Frank to either light that. He lights it. He lights it all the time. Big people just don't pay attention to it. He lights it. He smokes it some. Depends. If you get him where he's not talking, if Frank is not talking, he's just sitting back listening, and you get him, he'll just smoke the cigar. If he's talking and hanging out and you're asking him a lot of questions, he will be chewing on it as he talks. Because I think it's kind of that's a more of a nervous habit that he does then. And so there you go. So yes, Frank will smoke the cigar. He doesn't ever smoke in the truck, but he does smoke the cigar. But when he's talking, he doesn't smoke it that often. It's very, very rare. It's usually he's chewing on it. Okay, tell Frank I like that. Yeah, I always think that's, why does Frank have to light it? I light plenty, but he does light them. Yes, I've seen it plenty of times. He always lights them before he chews them. So let Frank do what he wants with his cigars. Right, Jax? Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Look at all these people. See all these people? Hey, Rock. Oh, Rock's coming in. Okay. Okay. Well, somebody's jealous. Yeah. Are you jealous? Oh, you gotta take shh, shh, shh. I don't need to be barking. Anyways, okay, there's 2 of the 3 boys. Anyhow, so there we go. So there we are for this week. We're winding down, man. That went by quick. And it's nice that everything worked well today. So I hope everybody heard me clear. Everybody enjoyed this afternoon. I'm a little worn out this week. So we've been having, this is the 3rd week of pretty much all day, everyday meetings. And I'm not a meeting person at all. And it's been really rough. So being not a meeting person and sitting in there, I just feel like I'm just so worn out from it. But we're doing a software design for workflow, and it's not going to bore everyone with all the details, but it's a project that we're working on with IT groups, the vendor who owns the product, and the field groups, and we're trying to make it something and make sure that everybody's getting what they want, bringing people in. And I'm one of the supervisors, leaders that's in there, making sure everybody gets their voice in the room, and that we kind of try to make get the best product with everything possible for the company moving forward. So it means a lot, and there's a lot on the table to do it right by the guys in the field. So it's necessary. It's just tough because it's so redundant, because you're going back through things. And anybody who's been in a lot of meetings knows what parking lot is. There's things that go into the parking lot, and you keep revisiting, and that's rough because it does seem like Groundhog Day. It would be a hoot. Crazy Jake showed up the wrong way. He's dead, back from the dead, allegedly. I think he's dead, regardless of dead now. But Wayne, if you found the mine back in 2006 and never went back, look at all the people. How do you know? How do you know? The mine is real, and crush a legend or crush your friends. I am not the person that, see, me and Frank always have said, why would anybody write a book claiming they ever found the mine? Tom was very similar. As like, no matter what you find, whether you find the mine or expose it as not there or certain aspects. That's why the stone maps stuff stays out. The museum has the stone maps. There are a lot of people that believe in it. None of the books sell. None of those. Nobody that does lectures on them really draw anybody, because it's a very, very niche thing. It kind of, a lot of people get expressed interest, and then it kind of like narrows down very quickly. But the thing is, what's the purpose of killing off legends and myths and things like that? It's like I said, I'll tell the truth in everything, but I'm not going to tell someone. I'll say this is this and this and this, and I'll tell someone that. And if they still want to go out, That's fine. I've done plenty of things and dug in plenty of ground that ridiculously I should have never dug in because it was someone that was a friend and that was their dream. And I thought for a few beers or just an afternoon, just helping someone out, I had no problem with it. And there's a lot of people that will do that. It's not about crushing their dream. It's about going out and be supportive of it. So I disagree with a lot of things, not just theories, but beliefs and material and information with a lot of people I'm very close friends with. It does not interfere in any way with our relationships or how we feel about each other. We're far closer than that, and none of it really matters. And I will listen to them patiently, differently than I will listen to anyone else, because they are very good and close friends, and I respect them for what they believe in. And that's because of just the closeness and the time you spend with people. I think that sums it up pretty well. Any thoughts on the supposed Egyptian gold in the Grand Canyon? We covered that. We covered that story about the guy. When you dig deep sometimes into those stories, more than just the newspaper articles that were kind of like fake, like the pterodactyl in Tucson and that stuff. When you found that era and a lot of those stories, and you really start to dive into it. When we did the Grand Canyon one, the guy that had the Grand Canyon one going in the cavern, not the archaeologist, but I touched upon it in telling this other story. You start to realize that there was that pulp fiction of the 20s, 30s, 40s, and how it influenced those stories. And today people pick them back up. Would I be surprised if there was something in the Grand Canyon like what people claim? Yes, I'd absolutely, because I've spent time down in there and all. Is it impossible? I kind of think it is, but you never say anything's impossible, because when you do, then there's always some, we don't understand nature or natural things the way we think we do. Have you ever seen proof of long tunnel cave system that are supposed to run for many miles? Yes. I've been in stuff like that. Hey, Wayne, have you ever heard that interesting and vivid dream about the Dutchman mine or some? Have you ever had on an adventure? I've never, I don't dream. It's very weird. And I'll explain that in a second. I'm going to catch up. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this. Thank you. Thank you always to do that. You will know, take my word for it, you will know Writer than ever heard of guess Roos, who went missing in Escalante, Tucson. No, it doesn't ring a bell, aside from Ralph Morris, who dug out those holes directly north of the paint mine. Assays show that, a lot of assays showed a lot. Shoes has a lot of those assays on the red paint mine. Not that red paint mine, there's another red rock mine. It's called the Red Rock Mine. And do think what will happen when it's found. All right. Getting back to it is, for some reason, it's rare, but if I get plenty of sleep, once in a while I'll have dreams. But when I dream, it's very matter of fact work like. I will dream about just doing my job and stuff. It is not anything dreaming. I don't go into lucid dreams and stuff like that. I never have. And it's always odd because I kind of feel like, people have crazy dreams and nightmares and stuff. I haven't had a nightmare or crazy dream stuff, a lot of stuff like that stuff since I was a kid. And it's just, I don't know, maybe I'm whacked out. Who knows? But that's just a sleep issue, partially too. But yeah, I've just never, well, it's not dream recall. I just don't sleep in that level. And I'm not going to get into the whole the science behind it. But yeah, just some people don't sleep much. They intermittently sleep more. And a lot of that happens. Bye, y'all. Have a good evening. Have a good evening. Enjoy family and friends and your evening and everything else. Yeah, it is about time to start to wrap up here soon. But yeah, that's just one of those odd things. It's rare when it occurs for me. So definitely on the treasure hunting thing, it's just never, I don't even, it just never enters my mind. I don't daydream like that about stuff too. I'll talk about stuff, would be kind of awake, talking about stuff, but I don't have that daydreaming quality and stuff like that. So it's very different. Chinese Food Friday. Yes, by the way, yes, it is. So it's supposed to be Chinese food today. Trevor's doing Friday Night Lights football. So Trevor's filming and doing the broadcast for the football game tonight. So he'll be later and all. And so I chose pick up Chinese, which as soon as we finish here, I will be going out to get Chinese food. I will run out and get some Chinese. So I haven't had Chinese for a week or so. It just kind of sounded good today. So thank you again, Wayne. Have a great weekend. Well, everybody have a great weekend, and we'll get more dove into the rendezvous and what's happening. Like I said, we'll be able to get out and check the camp, get some stuff. I want to also try to get Chasing Legends or some more material for Jack's book. He keeps telling me, well, I'm going to give you and Trevor a book. I want to purchase one because I believe support. I think he sold out his first run. And I don't know if it was just 100, 200, how many he had printed, but he said he sold out his first run, which is great. I thank everybody. And I don't know if he was having a problem with some of the people getting them through the museum. If the museum's not getting them out, or they're not directing people to them. So please get some footage. I don't know what I need footage of Chinese food. I don't know. So everybody, though, have a good weekend. Like I said, I'll be going cleaning up the monument and kind of chilling with that stuff and kind of seeing the dogs and some good folks out there. And then we'll get things ramped up. It's kind of a busy month because I know we don't have that. Some cleanup, and then we got Halloween and the rendezvous, and it just kind of starts buzzing. It's funny how we sit all summer wait, and then it gets so busy we can't get to everything we want to through the fall and winter. This year I'm already trying to plot stuff out because Trevor and I didn't get to some things we wanted to last year. So I'm trying to plot a few things out, including a special little mine I found that I have no idea who it's attached to. I found no documentation on it, but it's up in a high arroyo in a north-south trending canyon, and very, very interesting. Fits a lot of things, and I just want to use it as the scope of showing people somewhere some things that can be very similar to the Dutchman clues and how easy it can be. It is an inclined pit mine up in the mountains and in a arroyo, so it fits so much of it. And I doubt, I have very, very little belief that it's Dutchman. But it's very interesting because I can't find any ownership or anything on it. And I want to we'll film and kind of go through it and explore the area and so forth and kind of show how many times this can happen. But I just found it interesting that I can't find any lineage on it. And we don't have Tom anymore to tell us. So I don't know. I've not been able to find anybody that knows anything on it. Decided I'm going to make it sure next year so everybody needs to stay alive. There you go. So we have definitely every 20th anniversary we'll see what we can do there. Maybe we'll do some party poppers. Since the Forestry Service won't let us have fireworks, we'll do party poppers. That would actually be kind of funny. So there we are, winding it down. It's a little shorter than most weeks, but it's also been a long week, and I'm sure it's a long week for everybody. Thank you, everybody, for kind of joining in with us. I think you know mine. So everybody be safe. Everybody that can make the rendezvous, we're looking forward to seeing everybody and spending time with everybody and getting out under the stars. I know some people are starting to get out and kind of spend the cooler nights out there. I'm hoping we have really good weather, but looking forward to just seeing everybody and then kind of letting everybody know how things go and everything there, which is one of the cool aspects of this, is that once we're done and we do that, if we come back, everybody in the chats will be able to let people know, when they were there and they had a great time and all. I think that's great exposure for the whole thing as well. So there you go. So there we go. I think you know mine. The passage was retracted. Message retracted. I don't know. A little late, but at least I caught out at the end. Yeah, I always feel bad for that. Got a kid put an extra minute or two in for guys that joined in way too late. Because the Dutchman followed the same sort of circumstances, successful gold deposit. Well, remember, he wasn't following it, prospecting it. It was through the Peraltas and the group that was out there had found it. Through them, he was shown where it was. And So, that's always remember that. Jacob Waltz may have been a great prospector. He might have been understood the ground and could have read things, but it was someone else showed him where it was. So most of us don't have that guide just going out there and going, hey, you an American? Yeah, you got citizenship papers? Come on over. I'll show you. Give us a hand here. So that doesn't happen a lot to most people, unless you're Salvador de Guidia. So, but anyways, there we go. Easier to ask forgiveness and pay fine than ask permission. Okay, 73 kj typing. I don't know. Okay. So, anyways, everybody have a swell and awesome and just beautiful week and weekend. We got another one of those Halloween type stories. I call it Halloween Havoc, but for whatever it is and stuff, we're going to try to run a bunch of stuff like that through October. And then we'll probably continue to do the lives till just about the rendezvous to keep the information flow going in communication with people who are looking for answers or things or information. And then that Friday, obviously, we won't, because I won't be here to do this. I'm not going to buffer it and stuff. So that Friday, we'll have some archival stuff or something we'll put up instead. We'll probably try to intermittently do some live little brief reports and stuff from the rendezvous for people. Most of the guest speakers never want to be publicly filmed and posted and stuff. We can use snippets, but they never want their whole thing done. Gold from the mine is in rich vein. Well, I can't think of any place like it. Thank you. Good, Taz. Good. Wish you could make it. First time in many, many years, but maybe next year for you. You can catch that deer and let us know how your hunt goes. Hopefully it's successful. And so that being said and done, I'm going to get out here and shortly hereafter get my sweet and sour pork and my Korean barbecue. And I'm going to enjoy my food. So everybody take it easy, take care, enjoy, do everything safely. Make sure you let someone know if you're going in the mountains. Leave word behind with someone. And until the next time we see each other, please enjoy watching live again. Please enjoy Chasing Legends on Mondays. Thank you for all your support and everything. Till the next time, this was Legends Live. I'm Wayne Tuttle, and we're out of here.